Bam, we're live. Welcome. Getting started in just a minute here. All right. There we are. We got everybody on. All right. So starting a new daily part, we're calling it Remodeler AI. And I've been talking a lot about estimates, bids, and proposals. If you're new, let me know what part of the country you're from. Welcome. All right. So a lot of contractors get this confused, as do homeowners. The difference between an estimate, bid, and proposal, right? You have to reposition your proposal because this is one of the most powerful things that you have. It's how you build trust, get sales, and we're going to help you. You can use AI to get this straightened out as well. All right. So if you're just sending out one document, it's going to be tough in this industry. All right. The proposal isn't a one-page fix. That doesn't count. Have you ever signed a client up and like a week or so into the job, they think a lot of other things are included and you're trying to come back to them and say that wasn't part of the deal? Suddenly you're the bad guy. You know, they're frustrated with you because you have extras. And it's not that you were trying to rip anyone off. You had a idea in your mind what the job was, and the homeowner, they had an idea in their mind what the job was. And generally what's happening is the two aren't mixing too well. So let's see if we can put this up here or not. Let's see. Yeah, welcome. If you're new, let me know what part of the country you're from. We're just getting started. I'm just adjusting this camera here. Wants to fall over. There we go. All right. Perfect. All right. So you don't want to be the villain when it comes to home remodeling, right? With homeowners. You've worked hard to land the job, and it's important that you get the profit as well. Nick, if you're new, welcome. Let me know where you're from. So what happens when you rush to a price instead of taking time to put in a proper proposal? Golf for life, welcome. All right, so let's get this clear. A bid says what you're gonna do. A proposal, it says why you're the one who should be doing it, okay? A strong proposal includes the homeowner's goal, the pain points that they're experiencing, a detailed scope of work, inclusions, exclusions, material allowances that leave room for confusion, no confusion. Welcome. Hey, if you're new, let me know what part of the country you're from. We're talking about estimates, bids, and proposals and why you need to know the difference. Be curious what your experience has been. Can share. All right. So a strong proposal is going to have a clear timeline, right? It's going to have a payment schedule, and it's going to show the project flow through the whole project. Thanks for saying hello. Yeah, so if you're new, just let me know what part of the country you're from. All right, here we go. Think of it like this. A bid, that answers the question of how much. The proposal, that really answers the question of why us to finish and create the thing that you want, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner. It's A proposal is the difference between being seen as a contractor versus like a consultant, an advocate. You're there for the homeowner. And you can use AI here because it's going to help you structure, clarify, and like elevate. Okay. So it can help you write your summary. You want to understand because this is you have to make sure you've asked the right questions to get the homeowner's goals. If you guys are new, just let me know what part of the country you're from. And if you have any questions on estimates, bids, and proposals. So, but a professional contractor really understands what's the goal, what's the homeowner trying to accomplish. It's more than just a kitchen. Why do they want the kitchen? What's the kitchen going to do for them? What's the pain point right now? Financing could be a pain point, right? Not being able to come up with a vision. Maybe they need a proper design, trying to figure out how do we fit it all into this space, helping them work with the amount of investment that they want to put into. That could be a pain point, right? A lot of guys think that price is a problem. It can also be an opportunity for the professional, all right? And helping the homeowner understand how can they balance. If they only have a set amount that they can invest, how do you help them get the most value for that investment? Problem solver. That's what a good consultant is. You problem solve for the homeowner. You can't problem solve if you don't know the homeowner's problems. So you'll ask AI, it'll help you write a confident summary. Shows that you understand the homeowner's goals and how your approach can help solve their biggest problems. Now you've got that opening paragraph, right? And this is how you can start separating yourself. So AI can also help you format a very clear scope, right? You want to transform your rough notes more into like a blueprint, something that's like bulletproof, right? Here's where you're gonna talk about your inclusions and your exclusions. You're gonna structure phrases. Hey, Johnny, welcome. Trades or even allowances by category. Justin, welcome. So AI can build your timeline and a payment schedule and the language. Generate a milestone based payment terms, right? Once this thing starts we're going to move on. Next step, right? And it's important when you have a multi-week, multi-scope project. You have to have proper milestones. You guys probably already know how to do that. You're going to write a simple, clear explanation of the payment structure. If you're new, welcome. Let me know what part of the country you're from. You'll go by coming up with a good proposal. It's going to clarify a lot of things for the homeowner and separate you from the guys that are bottom feeders, right? All these cheap contractors that are dangling that low price. The homeowner doesn't want that, right? If you're not offering anything of difference, the homeowner doesn't know how good you are. If you guys are new, welcome. Just let me know what part of the country you're from. If you have any questions about bids, proposals, or estimates. So let's be clear. There's a whole process to understanding the difference between the three. And I've been covering it in the last couple of videos, so we might not get into all that tonight unless you guys ask specific questions. All right. Your goal as a contractor is to help the homeowner feel confident in taking on this endeavor of fixing their house. Your goal is to inform them, help them feel educated, right? And that's why you don't give all this away at the estimate phase. You save it for once you've been hired. You do that during your design and planning. And now you can write a formal proposal because they've already been paying you. You outline the why, the how, the what, and the total investment. And then when the client reads all this, they're going to be like, man, you're one of the first contractors who's actually explained all this to me. Thank you. And this is how you start winning those jobs. It's not because you're the lowest bidder. It's the exact opposite. It's because you're the most professional. That's how the real pros are selling, and that's how you get off of that hamster wheel, right? Free quotes and the price wars. So bids and estimates, you're competing more on price, but a proposal, that's how you can lead with the value. So if you want a better job and some better margins, you have to start sending more of a proposal. That's where we're going. If you're new, welcome. Let me know what part of the country you're from. Any questions you have on the difference between estimates or bids, proposals. Ah, cool. Shape, Swelter, Washington State. Very nice. What's your niche? So last few nights I've been talking about the difference between estimates, bids, and proposals. For homeowners, for sure, get it confused. But surprisingly, a lot of contractors mess it up all the time, right? And once homeowners get clarity because a professional contractor starts educating them on the difference, it makes the process much different. All right, let's see. I followed you. Okay, brother. I hear you. I'm not going to be looking up your thing while we're on the live, but thanks. So, yeah. Anyhow, if you have any questions about bids but thank you for the follow-up. If you have any questions on bids, estimates, proposals, you can feel free to put them in here. Yep, maybe later. Very cool. All right. So I appreciate you hopping in. It sounds like you've been in the game a while, so very cool. You probably already know the difference between estimate, bid, and proposal. Maybe I won't have to go over that with you. Let's see, what else can we get into? I find that the best proposals are ones where you reiterate back to the homeowner their goal. I'm new on TikTok. Amazon seller expanding market. Okay, so you're not into remodeling. I got you. All right. Well, very cool. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm fairly just a few months on TikTok. Gone live about 160 days straight. So, um, but definitely late to the TikTok game. So still building an audience and still trying to figure out the best times to do the lives, all that. Yeah, man. So cool. Glad you found it. Let's see. Um, I'm into, I have funnels and websites and automations. There's a lot of some of the people that I'm in some funnel groups with are into your space, the Amazon, the reselling. So yeah, very cool. Okay, no reselling, just your own product. Nice. And how are you finding it right now? How are you able to keep up with the demand? Who's like making your product for you? Have you found like a factory to you do you drop ship? Like, does the product get warehouse? Do you order the product, have it come back to you, and then you have a factory? So they just ship it. Do they ship to the customer for you, or does it come to you? FBA. Okay, cool. Well, very cool. Yeah, so for you, it sounds like the challenge is just you got to get yourself out there. You got to have as many people find out your product. Are you selling it on TikTok? You using the TikTok shop? Yeah, scaling for sure. You should get in touch with a friend of mine. He teaches people how to sell their products on the TikTok shop. Um, his name's Benjamin. He's on the West Coast as well, California. Um, yeah, I'll recommend he reach out. He find you. Yeah, Benjamin. You might want to check out his stuff. He's anyway. TikTok shop can be very lucrative. Okay. Yeah, man. Very cool. Yep. Yeah, everything's always expanding and changing. So roll on, brother. Roll on. All right. Yeah, if you guys are new to the remodeling space, new to the channel, just let me know what part of the country you're in. And any questions you have on estimates, bids, or proposals. I know it's a little late tonight. So we've been doing a lot of decorating here, uh, putting up lights, stuff like that. So we got a late start. Trying to take advantage of the weather. And who do we have? Amber, are you new? Welcome. Let me know what part of the country you're from. Who else? Not too busy tonight. That's all right. It's late, and it's a Saturday night for so. In my world, with estimating, a bid, typically you would use that to say in an abbreviated fashion, like what you're going to do. But the proposal, that's where you get into telling the homeowner why you're the one, like why you're going to be solving all their problems. So estimates, they're just done over the phone. I would not recommend anybody give an estimate out in person. But the bid or proposal, yes, you want to meet with the person and you want to deliver that. You don't want to be emailing it or texting it. But everybody's got their own style. So anybody else on here? Tonight might not be there. We might shut down a little early. What else? So, a lot of homeowners have a distrust innately in contractors, right? And a lot of it's their own fault. They just don't understand that. They think they're being a smart consumer. They think that the lowest bidder should win in a competitive environment. But what they don't understand is in contracting, they lose. The lowest bid is the worst experience. They're getting the worst quality, they're getting the worst product, uh, all across the board. And unfortunately, homeowners don't understand the variance. It's kind of like a pizza pie. Most people think that, yeah, pizza's pizza, right? Kind of looks the same, kind of tastes the same. But if you've ever been to like a Little Caesars, you start recognizing that some pizza's just junk, right? You go to a Papa John's, pizza's a lot better. So there's a reason why one pizza is $24 and the other pizza's what, $5.99. That's like 4 times the cost for the same thing. It's the ingredients, right? It's how it's put together. Remodeling is the same way, but homeowners think it's not. So that's why there's so many lawsuits. That's why there's so many projects that get derailed and take 6 months, 2 years to get completed because the homeowner is thinking it's like buying a pizza. They're all the same, and they're not. So a good contractor needs to be able to explain the difference to the homeowner. I got very fortunate my first few years in the business. I was contacted by a law firm to be an expert witness for homeowner and contractor disputes. And I got to see firsthand, most of the time when there's a dispute, the homeowner doesn't like to admit it, but they're the one to blame. they took the bait. The contractor dangled it and said, "Here you go, hire us, we'll do it for less." And the homeowner thought they were being sharp, educated, right? We know how to do this. We know who to hire. And then they end up in a lawsuit. So, interestingly enough, I never once had a case where a reputable, high priced contractor was ever involved in a lawsuit. It's amazing. It just doesn't happen. But a lot of homeowners, they have to, a lot of homeowners I've learned, like us, and just like contractors, right, have to fall on our face. A lot of people are stubborn, a lot of people are hard headed, and they have to learn the hard way. So that's life for a lot of people. Not everybody's open to having life easy. It's part of our journey, I think, for a lot of people. So, I've made some videos before where I'm not always able to help the homeowner out. Sometimes you have to just thank them for their time and wish them the best because they'll be calling you back in about 6 months when their project fell on its face and they're stranded, stuck, pissed off, and now it's going to cost twice as much. So you don't have to tell them I told you so. I give them 2 cards. I say, you'll want this second card. Throw the first one away, but you'll want to save the other one for when you got to call me back in a few months. So, because you can see it coming. You see the writing on the wall. And what's funny is most of the homeowners that I have that have had that experience, they're all educated, meaning they've all gone to college. And when you go to school and you come out educated, and then you deal with contractors who typically didn't go to college, homeowners start getting a sense of superiority. They're like, oh, I'm smarter than the contractor, right? Because of the way the contractor presents themselves. Contractors tend to be rough around the edges, right? Homeowner doesn't understand that world, and so they start thinking they can outsmart the system. Yeah. And then they end up in a lawsuit, and then their house is torn apart. It's a mess. It's a nightmare, and they're all frustrated and pissed off. And they're like, you can't trust anyone. Contractors suck. And it's like, no, you can actually trust a lot of them. You just keep choosing the cheap ones. So, all right. If you're new and you're in construction, let me know what part of the country you're from. Otherwise, we might get rolling. This might be the end of tonight. So that's probably everything we'll do tonight. If you have any questions, I don't see any questions coming up in the chat, so we might end a little early. Get out. Let's see. Take a peek, see how some videos are performing. Yeah, if you have any questions about estimating, feel free to ask away. Put chats anywhere you like. All right. Thanks for joining, and we'll be back another night. Unless you got, if you do remodeling, James, let me know what part of the country you're from. If you're just popping in, no worries. We're talking about estimating, bidding, and proposals. Mackenzie, if you do anything with contracting, let me know what part of the country you're in. Otherwise, no worries. All right. Take care, folks. Thank you.